Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great evening. With Bitcoin, and that what are some of the yesterday, the big protests, riots, the Chinese clamped down on Bitcoin mining made Kazakhstan the second largest hub for since November when Bitcoin was trading around $69,000. About 40% of Bitcoin's value has been lost to date, meaning if you got in back then, you're not feeling too well about the state of affairs with Bitcoin, right? This is also, I think, yet another indication of some of the issues that exist with uh, algorithms like proof of work, right? Where geographically there is a great degree of centralization. We know, most of the time it's going to be utilization of geography. These are one of several categories to determine if something is decentralized, right? Being is the mining decentralized, right? Is the wealth decentralized? Are the exchanges decentralized? Is the geography becomes this big set of starts to weaken in areas, certain areas, it can create so many issues, right? And then we see that reflective, obviously, in the price of the cryptocurrency, right? And screen's kind of acting up here today. Um, okay, I apologize for those technical difficulties. It would seem that we were too under the gun, like what's happening in Kazakhstan. So anyway, getting back to Bitcoin, what's causing these dips, right? Besides factors like that, we also have to keep in mind that we have went through uh, typically a recession that some of us believe has been going on since as early as 2008, that we never came out of it, right? So we were already in a bad situation, but we know how the Fed works in the print of money and the supply of money injected into the economy. So typically, what that's done is put a band-aid, cause the stock markets to push up and drive up. It's like covering a deep wound. And what exactly happens to that deep untreated wound? It begins to fester. And so this is what's been happening with cryptocurrency. Now, the idea was that Bitcoin would act as as basically a protection against inflation, right? A shelter against inflation. And what happened instead was we've seen cryptocurrencies move with the stock market, right? So when the stock market crashes, cryptocurrencies seem to act in that way as well, right? So part of the problem as well with Bitcoin is that I think that Bitcoin may have erroneously been put in a place to be considered gold 2.0. For Bitcoin to get to that position, there needs to be a lot more trial and testing and development that hasn't Bitcoin hasn't gotten there yet. And so in comparison to something like gold, which has been through the ring of fire, uh, gold, as you can see, does exactly what you would expect it to do, as this shelter against this protection against inflation, and it goes up a great deal in value, outperforms the market, right? Trades adverse to the markets. Um, and so in that, what seems to be happening is much like how our monetary system is covering this big bandage. Similar things has happened with Bitcoin, where people did start to put a lot of money into cryptocurrency in the hopes and effects that it would perform as a shelter against inflation, and that's not what happened. And so now what's happening is those people have sold out. The price of Bitcoin has tanked, excuse me, and over 40% of the value has been lost. Now, also, what we have to keep in mind and what we have to pay attention to, guys, excuse me, let me turn off these notifications. All right, I put up there, don't interrupt me indefinitely. All right, so it won't interrupt me until then. But I also see this as a cautionary tale, guys, and that is, you know, there are certain behavioral patterns that we're bringing into cryptocurrency that I think is contributing to this that needs to stop, right? And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we're really going to have to move to the point where we cannot treat cryptocurrency like this big slot machine game anymore, right? Part of the reason why Bitcoin performs is doing what it's doing as well is that there are only 2 to 3% of the financial market participants in cryptocurrency. And the reason that is, some people would say, oh, it just hasn't been around long enough or something to that degree. That's not the case at all. When something is useful, it doesn't take us many years to jump on it. Trust me on that. It doesn't take us many years. But cryptocurrencies, we don't use them in a way that creates any urgency or usefulness that is significant to make the case where people need to be using it and be involved with it, right? The best thing we can muster up at this point is mooning prices, right? But then that's no different than what we're getting in our standard economy is right now. The shell game that is played in our standard economy is what got our standard economy in the state of being it is in today. It is based on those same very principles and ideas, the greed of Wall Street, and market manipulation, and all of those things that has wrecked our standard economy. Now we're running a cryptocurrency because we haven't handled things there correctly. But we're bringing those same elements to cryptocurrency, right? The bottom line, guys, is many of the cryptocurrency projects you guys are involved in, many of the things you're doing, it doesn't matter. It is not significant. People aren't going to use them. They don't want to use them because they don't need to use them, right? It is only through projects that tap into a sense of urgency and need that is created, and it is only then that you will see stable prices and we'll see value that is true value that can hold. And how do you get true value? You get it through solving problems and usefulness. And no, having your cryptocurrency go up to the highest possible value and price for nothing at all other than for it to do that isn't a true significant case, right? So, and that is if you want cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, to be something that is actually useful, that you will actually feel safe putting your money in, right? Because I can tell you right now, losing 40% of anything in a short time span from November to now is not going to be something that's going to be dependable in the future or otherwise, right? I think at this point you have to look at Bitcoin, if anything, like a stable coin, right? And let me explain what I mean by that, right? In cryptocurrency, it is ridiculous at this point to think you can get rich and make money off of Bitcoin. You really got to be kidding yourself. Bitcoin has to now become this useful, more or less stable coin that is more stable, makes more sense than the other stable coins, because what you get with stable coins is they're being backed by fiat currencies. That's an oxymoron. No, you need a cryptocurrency backed by a cryptocurrency that's stable, you know, and that's what Bitcoin is trying to be, and it may very well be that one day, or it may not ever be that. It's all going to depend a great deal on us and our behavioral patterns. Um, the problem is, even though Bitcoin dropped 40% over the last several months, which means it was able to rise that high, and cryptocurrency, that's not going to be a significant enough uh, gains, I don't think, to really draw masses of people. And the reason being is that there are still some products in mainstream traditional economies that can compete with that can compete 44% a year, or even 100% a year. Now, what it can't compete with is 500% a year, 600% a year, 1,000%, 10,000%, right? And cryptocurrency, uh, I won't say can really do that. It does it in an unsustainable way, which leaves a lot of people penniless and a few people lucky. And that is not a house built on a solid foundation, right? So if you watch the channel, you know I've been introducing the Bitcoin, the BBD coin, and what it's become is it's this, and it's kind of this Goldilocks zone, or where it's this store value and it's a payment system, a currency, which brings more economic prosperity than any financial product. And this is a fact. If you look at something like gold or any store of value, yes, it may go up in value, but it only serves value and economic prosperity to a small group of people. And that's what we're trying to get away from. It is currencies like the US dollar and the euro that bring more economic prosperity across the globe, right? And I think this is a misconception and misunderstanding in cryptocurrency, how things work. The BBD coin occupies a very, very sweet spot. And what it does is you're able to mine it, create it from attention value, right? By doing things you do every day online, right? Like through social media interactions and so on and so forth. So you don't have to buy it, but if you do purchase it, then your purchase basically begins now to act as a CD, as a store of value, and then basically you generate a fixed amount of tokens based on that are paid out every year at a rate of about a 600% increase in the tokens, right? Now, this is useful for many, many reasons, um, and that it can accommodate usefulness as a currency as well, due to not only super fast transactions, but almost completely free, probably less than a penny to send these things, right? Do transactions. Um, and so this is amazing. There's never been a cryptocurrency that kind of fell between and fit the elements that this product has, right? And so, in comparison to something like Bitcoin, if you think about Bitcoin, imagine how much mass it would take, how much cash injection it would take for Bitcoin to you to make 100% on it at this point, right? Even now, Bitcoin would have to go to like $80,000, right? So you can see that Bitcoin, outside of uh, at some hopeful point in the future becoming just a stable base pair cryptocurrency you can trade in and out of with other altcoins, right? Bitcoin isn't going to really have any purpose after that, right? It really doesn't. You can't build anything on it. And so it's going to be up to these altcoins, and these altcoins are garbage, right? The BBD coin, I think right now might be the best product out there, right? And what I would suggest you do is subscribe to the channel, learn as much about the BBD coin as you can by watching some of the videos listed under the channel. Ask questions in the comment section. We can educate you a little bit more about it. So I'm not going to get into great detail about the features of it, because you will be able to do that with so much content that's been produced on the channel. But that's where Bitcoin is, guys. It's not looking good for the cryptocurrency space. Many of you Bitcoin holders, and even many of your Ethereum holders, I think you're going to be in the same spot, really. But that's all I want to say in the video. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.